And then knowing the difference between doubt and terror, because when we go back up here to frequencies, right? When we look at these lines here, the purple one is terror, okay? And doubt actually looks a little bit screechier. Terror settles into a pattern pretty rapidly because it considers itself to be the thing that tells you get out right now. There's something really problematic here. Whereas doubt's just kind of like chalk on a blackboard. It just goes up and down and up and down. It gets to the point where people can be hysterical because they've been in doubt so long about something. So when we look at these strategies, knowing the difference between doubt and terror, it can help you have different solutions. They also present differently. They present very differently, how people look when they're doubtful rather than terrified. So start to make the distinction for yourself. Because when you're in doubt or terrified, we usually don't stop to think about it too much. We usually do things to push it away. And again, it's the same thing, Lisa. It's not getting, wanting, or pushing or driving for more. It's letting go, recognizing it, owning it, welcoming it, and you make a date with doubt. So when we look at these strategies down here, the blue ones are for doubt. The red ones are for terror. The purple ones are for both. Okay? So red is terror. Just think of it. Red flashing light. That's for terror. Okay? The blue one. Okay, that's for doubt. And then the purple is for both. So when we're looking at having tea with terror, which we'll talk about in a minute, you will have already sat down with doubt. You're going to have a date with doubt. You're going to go, okay, I don't know how all this is going to work out. Okay, that's the universe's job. My part of the deal is to be ready and willing. So when I sit down to write a novel each day, I don't think down, oh my God, Mary is sitting down to write a novel. Oh my, and then she's going to have to get it edited, and then she's going to have to get, I don't need, you know what? That's not my job. I'm just supposed, my part of the deal is to be ready and willing and have a pen and paper and just write what I'm told to write. That's all I'm supposed to do. Okay? Or it's going to take just as much energy. Number 7, breakdown or breakthrough takes the same amount of energy. Okay? I can take that energy and I can sit and write 3 sheets of paper as I'm required to do, or I can sit there and fiddly futz around about how I'll never be able to figure it out and get an editor. Same amount of energy. Breakdown or breakthrough, same amount of energy. So those are the 2 strategies that are ready for doubt. Now, when you're in terror, you act as if there's no alternative. It means you have to act. You better act, okay? Because if you say that choosing is optional, it will stay optional. If you say, well, you know, Kara, think of how long you stayed in that marriage because it was optional. Your choice was optional, right? And you, if I could speak for you, I believe you and many other people, myself included, have at times stayed in circumstances you just become accommodated to it. You don't even recognize you're terrified anymore. It just becomes the norm. You know, you become desensitized, and this is not uncommon. A lot of people do this, and it for different reasons, not necessarily a marriage. It could be for a lot of different reasons. So, you know, if you make it that there's no alternative, you finally said that, didn't you, Kara? It's like there's no alternative. This is it. It's not optional anymore. There are no options. There's no therapist. There's no this. There's no that. There's no magical thing out there. There's no wand that's going to come in. You know. There's no alternative. So you act as if there's no alternative. Now that seems like it'd be very dramatic if you're looking at finances or relationships with people where there are options. But put it to yourself. For me, I will say when I'm in a terror state about something, it's always between me and me anymore. It rarely involves other people. that I tell myself, listen, there is no alternative for you in this relationship now. You just stop that. You stop it. That's it. You either stop the relationship or you stop this behavior of thinking. That's it. No choice. And this autonomic nervous system calms down, goes, oh, okay, well, that's it. Choice has been made, right? You're in it now. Number 4, terror. Be willing to do it afraid, right? Carrie, you packed up your stuff. You were terrified. Your mouth was dry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Massive imperfect action. You didn't have all your ducks in a row. You didn't have all the boxes you needed. Right? You didn't even know where you were going some of those days, right? But
I know. I did not know where I was going when I got in the car.
I know. And you took massive imperfect action. Okay. And number 6 is recognizing that the small hinges move the big doors. You got in the car. You didn't say to yourself, I'm going to fix it all before I get in the car. I'm going to have it all figured out before I get in the car. I'm going to have everything in order before I get in the car. No, you got in the damn car. That was the small hinge. That moved the door that everything else started falling into place. Everything else started falling into place because you took the first step, and it shifts the energy. It shifts the energy enormously.
Mm-hmm.
So having a date with doubt and having tea with terror, what's really, really important here is when you do this, do not miss that appointment. If you tell yourself you're going to have a date with doubt or tea with terror at 4 p.m. and you don't show up, you have just confirmed to your body, your mind, and your spirit that you are not worth it, that you are not important, and that you are not reliable. And things will start to fold back on you. It's lying to yourself in a way. So you may renegotiate if you say, I understand I said I'd meet with you at 4 o'clock, but right now we're on the freeway and it doesn't look like they're going to get this jacked up trailer out of the way. So I'm going to be praying for the next 4 minutes and I'm going to meet you at 4:05. The same as you would give the respect to anybody outside of yourself. Give that to yourself as well. Because when we sit down, particularly with terror, you're looking at 6 things that we're going to go more deeply into next month. These are the 6 reasons we anchor ourselves in terror, or we are anchored in terror. And some of these are ancient, brought from with us with our soul. Some of them are brought by our ancestors. Some of them, they're embedded in our clan. We don't always know where they're coming from, but the way to eliminate them is to sit down with them and just start to write it out. And after you're done writing it out, some of you are very good at rituals, some are not. I would not keep it though. And then the next day when you sit down and have tea with terror, think of it as becoming your best friend. Okay, I'm going to meet with you. And I love this picture. I don't know why this just strikes me so funny. Every day at 4 o'clock, you and I are going to meet. We're going to be the best of friends. Okay. And so when you sit down, it could be the same things each day. That's all right. Because the repetition will help your body go like, I'm so tired of this. Can we stop yet? Can we stop worrying about something that hasn't happened for 20 years? Okay. So that's the same thing with doubt. When you sit down and you make a date with doubt, just recognize that doubt is going to say the most seemingly ridiculous things. Okay, what if, there are always going to be what if things. What if, I find out that, oh my God, I'm just a crappy writer and this was pointless for me to even do this. What if I find out that I get to the very last chapter and I die? What if, I get it all together and it becomes incredibly incredibly popular, and then I'm burdened with more work, and then people want me to do another book, and I don't want to do another book. What if it'll get to these astronomical areas where you at some point you start to recognize that the brain isn't vomiting that stuff back up anymore, because that's really all it is. It's undigested emotional psychological energy, and terror and doubt are vomiting it back up. Now, with terror, you're going to find there are generally more trauma patterns involved, though. Terror is usually, this dog bit me on my face when I was 6. Okay, and now there are these patterns. Okay, that's a little bit different than doubt, but recognize they're still treated the same way.